Yours truly holding it down for Jamie this morning. He's a little bit under the weather, so he's unable to do the show. In the studio with me, I know the guys personally, but I'll let them introduce themselves because I'm not aware of their positions at the water services here in St. Kitts. So I'll let them introduce themselves, and then we're going to get into our discussion this morning. This morning discussion will be an open discussion, meaning I don't want to say anything goes. That's a little bit too loose, but we are open to hear from you, the public, your concerns. You might be dealing with an issue that you would like the public water department, the water services department to know about, or you might have a concern that they can answer. Anyway, as it relates to the water in St. Kitts, that's what we have in the open line about. So I'll let the guys introduce themselves and keep these numbers in mind. 465-1977 and 1903 and 662-8674. Guys, good morning and welcome to the studio.
Yes, blessed morning. Blessed morning to you. My name is Malcolm Herbert. I'm the President Clerk of Works at the Water Services Department.
Good morning, Regeland. My name is Ian Francis. I'm the Inspector of Pumps with responsibility for production and distribution island-wide.
All right, great. Welcome to the studio once again.
Yeah.
All right, let's get our conversation going, if we can put it that way. Where would you like to start the conversation, Mr.
I will start by saying this. Because we heavily rely on the public to assist us with repairs. Repairs that is broken line, is your water train with someplace. I know we have been getting a lot of lash because some folks think that we don't respond fast enough. But I just would like to put it out there to let the public know that they have to bear with us because, for example, this morning when we went in, planned from yesterday, we done had 10 different jobs for the guys who works in Bastille to deal with. It's now 10:41 and they haven't touched one yet because we done receive about 5 different calls for broken lines. So sometimes we set out say, well, we're going to deal with this and that today. Unfortunately, a call come in, we have to kind of push back that, make adjustment, depends on what we deem is urgent. What we deem is urgent, the public might not see it that way, but in the bigger picture of things, we have to kind of grade them in order to get things done.
Okay.
So I just want to put it out there that we really, really appreciate the public for assisting us, making the reports when they see it. I know they just get frustrated sometimes, 2 days pass and we ain't come and deal with it, but just bear with us. We trying our best and we're trying to cut down that time between when the report was made to when we actually able to do the work. So I just want to put that out there first and foremost.
While we're there, though, what I have noticed is even though you guys push the number, a lot of people do not or are not aware of the number.
That is so true.
I see you smiling.
No, I'm smiling because myself and a number of other senior workers in the department and some juniors too, we were pushing heavily for the numbers them because sometimes 10, 11 o'clock you're home and your phone rings. So the government then and the department went ahead and put out that those numbers out there with the intention of having a more centralized point where you can record and so you'll be able to follow up more precise with reports. But I guess it's not widely known as yet, or folks just prefer to call certain people directly.
As you indicated, they feel the personal touch might be more appropriate to go that route. However, though, let's give them the number if we can.
Okay, so the numbers are for the hotline 662-4307. That is the water hotline 662-4307. To call the department directly via cell phone is 662-8588, 662-8588, or 467-1005. 467-1005.
All right. I'll ask you to repeat those numbers later on in the show before we leave. And once again, the lines are open 465-1977 and 1903 and 662-8674. And with a little caveat here, I don't want to turn it into a reporting session. I want to make sure it's an open session that you can address your concerns. You might be living in an area and you have a concern. And of course, we welcome the water reporting as well. Like, for example, for the morning, I've already received a call about one down at
Parsons.
Another one, pardon me, down at Malone Avenue. I already reached out to your coworker, Kurt Catty,
Yes.
and he's already looking into that. So people are calling. Well, as you can tell, they're calling the radio station and they're calling you guys personally.
Yes.
But the hotline number, we need to do some work on that. All right, so that's concern number one from you guys. What's another concern that you're seeing that you would like the public to either understand or help them address the issue better? What about you, Mr. Francis?
Okay, I'm speaking to when we get heavy rains. There's a lot of interruption when we get heavy rains, especially with our surface water, meaning like the Green Hill, the Wingfield, Franklands, Milligan, those sources which are surface water. There are a lot of blockage, especially in the Monkey Hill area. As for the past weeks, and so we had some issues in Monkey Hill, and that was one of the issues. The sources were blocked, so no water was coming from the sources, so the staff had to go up and clear the sources. A lot of the sources are very dangerous. So some of the sources, when you are going to them, there's just a foot track. You have to walk to go to them. And then you have to go down like in a hole and take out dirt and stones and stuff.
Oh, they're in risky areas?
Yes.
Okay.
So my thing, like the Old Road area, the Limekeel to the New Guinea, the Monkey Hill area, when we get a lot of rain, I would appeal to the people to do a lot of rain harvesting. So they could get water, store water before we get the forecast that we'll have heavy rain, so they could have water, because if we have those heavy rain, it's hard for the staff to go up, especially during the heavy rain period. So we have to wait till things calm down and then we go up and we do the clearing, so water could be restored. So I'll express to rain harvesting our storage before.
Right. Now that you mentioned that, and I'm sure you've heard the conversation, because I don't know when the conversation started, but it seems to be widely spoken throughout our society. They don't think that we have a water problem, they think that we have a storage problem. You've heard that conversation before?
Yes, I did.
I see you guys chuckling. Let's address that concern. The people on the streets, are they correct?
Far from the truth. One have to understand, it's not just rainfall, you catch your water, that's it. God.
I see an awkward right?
So far for this year, we've been very fortunate with the amount of rainfall that we've been having. And this year is one of the exception year for the past, I would say, about the past 15 years.
Wow.
The deficit that we are at presently, when I say the deficit, the lack of rain that we have not been getting over the past 15 years makes it very difficult because one has to remember everything depends on rainfall. The wells depends on rainfall to replenish the system. The surface water, Old Road, as my colleague said, Old Road, Franklin, Stonefort, Phillips's, all of those, Green Hill, depends on rainfall. So if we are not getting no rainfall, the surface water production would, let's say you was getting 50 gallons a minute from Cairns, Green Hill, Monkey Hill, Green Hill. And 2-3 years pass and rain, you got the dry season, sometimes you end up getting, instead you get the 50, you end up getting 10. And at the same time, the population is increasing. Houses going down here, there, and everywhere. So it's easy for one who is not in on the inside looking at the bigger pictures to say the problem is storage because you had a lot of heavy rain and no. And bear in mind also, when you're looking at and saying that the problem is storage, it doesn't make no kind of sense, neither financially or otherwise, to build, for argument, a 1 million gallon tank that you're only going to use for maybe 2 months in a year. When you could take that money and probably use it to develop wells or to do a desal plant. So you have to bring the water in, and then when you have the water, the storage what we have at present for the water that we have is suitable. But as you increase with your production, then you start, because the department is a governmental department, it doesn't have money in Golo. So you have to, as I was saying, same thing with the reporting,
Make a compromise.
you have to prioritize.
Right.
You have to, something can have get lead back, put back, and something can go in front, because you're trying to bring up everything. You're aiming for the island to have water 24/7. But in order to get there, you have to take little steps in different direction to bring up everything on the same level. So
will it be too much to ask if you can highlight some of those steps that you're taking to help, the concerns who are out there, Magdalena, listening?
Okay, as we speak, I think my general manager was here sometime a few weeks back.
About a week ago.
When he mentioned the hydrogeological study that we are undertaking. Basically, just like when someone have a broken bone and they go to the hospital and they put their hand or the foot under the machine and the x-ray, because you can't just look at someone and see the bones. So you have to use those machines to look through, and is a similar thing where we are using a drone that has this piece of equipment in the air and it's flying around in certain areas that we who works at water department and others who understand the studies and of the landscape and so on, flying around in specific areas looking for possible spots for us to drill.
Stick a pin there and try to remember your point.
Yeah.
We're getting our first call. Good morning, you're live.
Morning, gentlemen. How are we all doing?
I'm giving thanks.
I'm here listening to the program, and it's very informative and very educational. But one of your colleagues touched on what I really wanted to speak about in relation to the reporting. Because a lot of time when you report, there's a burst pipe or something like that, there's no urgency. And because of that, sometimes you stay there for days, sometimes weeks, and you can imagine the amount of water that is wasted by the time they come and rectify it. So that is something you all need to really look into. Once you all get the report, where the issue is, try and come and deal with it as soon as possible. I also will want to blame all the government in relation to what we are experiencing today. Because I think we were complacent and we were just taking things for granted over the years, and we continue billing and billing and billing, and nobody was looking at the situation with the rainfall over the years. And it is to this stage now that we are scrabbling. But because, personally for me, I'm from the old school. So these things don't really catch me off guard. But you know, the young people, they live this microwave system. So when they get up in the morning, there is no water, they have a problem. When they get home in the afternoon, there is no water. But you have to store the water because of the situation. And we are aware that over the years, the rainfall have been less and less. So I'm glad that you all are on the program to educate us in the general public, because that is what is lacking in a lot of the institutions. Nobody is coming out and saying anything. So we just assume and assume. Sometimes we assume wrong, sometimes we assume right. But I'm pleased that you all are here and trying to educate the general public. Thanks for your all effort and all the best going forward. Thank you.
And thank you
Yeah,
too.
thank you, sir.
All right, so you were highlighting one of the many plans that are that is being implemented to help. Do you remember your point?
Yes.
Okay.
So like I was saying, we are presently doing the hydrogeological studies. Basically, we are contracted out a firm because we don't have the capability at the water department to do it. So we contracted out a firm to starting from the Keon area via Saddlers to Sunny Point. Basically doing an x-ray of the earth, looking for areas that we have a greater possibility of tapping into the underground aquifer. So, for example, in Saddlers Village relies on water from Phillips's and water from Whitegate and Deep Bay. So we are hoping and praying that when the guys them reach in the Saddlers area, Tabernacle area, those area close to Saddlers, in Saddlers, as I said, they would be able to find at least two areas that could give us maybe a 400 gallons per minute well. That will go a long way in bringing back the whole island to 24/7 water supply.
Easing the load.
But that's on one hand. On the other hand, we are continually expressing ourselves to the public for conservation.
Hold our thought. We have a call. Good morning. You're live.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
The Darcy said you're from the water department. Why this thing so noisy, yeah? The line so noisy, that's why. Hello?
Hey, we're hearing you. Go ahead.
I was saying, you are telling us to do over and over. Since Dr. Christmas was at the water department, they don't do a map out of sensitive to know where water is there. So with all them shenanigans that are going on, also they may invest in their cars. Because Dr. Christmas don't do that for a long time. Long time. He was a geologist and hydrologist and all of that. So, I don't know where I'm telling people, but I can tell you something. It's now that you are going to need to build more storage. And in saying that rainfall, but if you're doing desalination, you're going to get a surplus. You have to have a surplus of water. They don't want storage. They don't need to. You're going with desalination, you got a short supply because you want to be started. So you're going to need storage. It's got to be very well. I can't go with this guy. Have a good day.
Okay, good day. Yes, we are doing desal, and the desal that we are undertaking right now is for the Bastia area. That water will be going to our reservoir at Bird Rock area. So what we will be doing, as long as the desal comes on stream, those pumps that were going to the Bird Rock area, we will be rerouting them to especially Alois and the Monkey Hill areas that are real critical right now with water. So we are doing different things to get different results.
Okay. We have 2 minutes left. So I'm going to, Mr. Francis, I'm going to let you share your last words, if any, or any concern you'd like to raise. And then I will let Mr. Herbert wrap up with his point that he was making before.
Just want to say thanks to the general public for always reaching out. And we, the Water Services Department, plus the general public, can do more to conserve water and to make sure we have that reliable source of water, because water is life, and without water we cannot survive.
Indeed.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. Herbert?
Yeah, just quickly to touch on the 2 callers. We really appreciate the reporting for Boss Pipe and so on. And yes, as you said, and as I said earlier, we are trying to shape the way how we react to the reports and cut down the time between when it was reported and when we got it fixed. Secondly, the desal plant, as my colleague said, that was one of the areas I was going to mention where what we are doing to bring everything to the 24/7. The desal plant, we recognize, because we have a number of storage in Bastille that most of the time are not filled. Now we have in the desal plant, hopefully come on stream. We are presently setting up interconnection from one reservoir to the next. So all of the reservoirs now will be in use based on the fact that the amount of water we're getting from the plant. And finally, as I said, we really appreciate the public, both for reporting and when they're out of water, bearing with us and understanding that we are not just turning off the water just for turning off sake. We're trying to keep water supply in the morning for when you wake up, you have water to get yourself organized and go to work. In the afternoon, when you come home from work, you have water to get yourself organized, go to bed. And that is what we're concentrating on right now, and looking for the 24-hour supply back to you. So thanks coming from me.
Mr. Herbert and Mr. Francis, thank you both for being here this morning and using the platform to get the word out. Thank you for listening. Thank you for viewing the show as well. And the Waterline will be back week after next. Is every other week. Next week will be Skellig's program. We encourage you to tune into that program as well. Coming up next, we have The Edge with Devon Cornelius. This is yours truly, the man behind the cue, being with you this morning. It's time for me to exit. But before I go, let me say thank you to our sponsors, The Cable, Smart Electronics, Coates, Domino's, and National Bank. I'll catch you all next week, same time, same place.
Water is life, 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 life. Water is life.